Good morning, good morning, good morning. Uh-oh, word. How you doing? The party is here. The party is here. Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Shop Talk with Mel. Today's topic is see the good, see the good. We're going to have a good time today as we do each and every single Saturday, but we are going to look at the good in everything, okay? That's the goal. That's the mission. I challenge everybody to see the good. No matter how wild your week has been or going to be, I'm telling you, I feel like some of the stuff to be happening. I'm like, is this for real? Like, who is writing this book and why you got to throw that in? All right, so what's going on? I want to introduce the ladies. Let me get my sound effects ready. All right, we have the Shop Talk crew in the building. We got my co-host, Nick the Voice. Go ahead and give it up for Nick the Voice. All right, and I'm going to need y'all to say some applause for the lovely Ambers in the building. Let's give it up. All right, lovely ladies. Yes. See the good. So tell me, how was your week? Or the weekend didn't start yet, but I feel like it did. It's so wow. How was your week? Go, Nick.
As usual. Hustling as usual.
Man, where you gonna live? You working.
Work. By the end of the year.
By the end of the year?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you got a plan.
Yes, I do. Everything will be, the end of the year starting. So
Okay. All
I
right.
gotta hustle now so I can lay back and just chill later.
Okay, well let me say this for the lovely people. Nick has her little people, her babies. So if you hear, we love the animals here, and we don't want them being neglected. They clearly need some of you, because I heard them and I kind of can hear, the little sound. So, and Amber, you have a pet too, right?
I do. I have a dog.
Yeah, that was her dog that was barking. Mine was at the door whining.
Oh, okay. See, okay, you got
pet. I saw the church finger come up. Okay.
So you have pet lovers. So on Shop Talk, we might have extra guests. So if you do, don't worry about it. All right, they just want to say what they want to say. And I know it's hot. You're in Texas, right, Nick?
Yes.
What part?
I'm in Houston, Texas.
Houston.
Yes, Houston in the building, and it is lovely. It has been lovely for the last couple of weeks now. So you see,
what's the temp?
Right now, our temperature is, hold on.
Oh, you didn't step out. You smart.
Yeah, right now it's 73 degrees.
Oh.
But it's supposed to get up.
Early.
79.
Okay. What about you, Amber? Where you at?
I'm in Youngstown, and it's supposed to be overcast today with a small chance of showers, but it's supposed to get up in the 70s, 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
And who picked up the work? This girl. I have no idea. I need to check the weather before I be like, yeah, I'll come in.
I do.
You do?
Yeah. Nice weather, no.
All right, what exciting happened with you, Amber?
So my child is on spring break, and so I had the week to myself, and I really didn't do nothing. I just laid around. It was nice. I didn't do anything. I lied around and just reflected and just had a nice, quiet house for a week.
Oh, how was that for you? Was it good?
It was good. It was definitely recharging, and it's a good start to summer, to the warm weather.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, get my mind in order, be at peace, get recharged, and then I can go hard for the summer. Mm-hmm.
All right. Tag me in that, Nick, because I'm trying to figure out how to share it, too. So tag me in that.
Okay.
That's all right. We catch it. All right, listen.
You know what?
So, go ahead. You can just, we got you because we live. We got to keep the show rolling, honey. Don't worry about it. Go ahead, do what you got to do. You got it? Okay. All right. So, we got the Shop Talk question of the week. And I'm going to put it out there so y'all can think about it. Lovely listeners, you guys can think about it. And you can take the number down that's going across the bottom of the banner. The phone number for the listening audience is 619-902-2287, 619-902-2287. The Shop Talk question of the week is, how long do you wait to date after the divorce? Don't answer. Just, we're going to wait. Okay, so let that simmer a little bit. Let it simmer. All right. You all right? The people in the back. Way in the back. All right. All right, so what's up? Let's talk a little bit before we get into these hot topics. Or do y'all just want to jump right in and be done with it? Because I know y'all tired of Will and Jada. All right, I'm just going to jump right in it. I can't. I tried to wait a little bit.
Oh, Jesus.
But wait a minute, though. She is back at the red table.
Right. It's her show.
Listen. And now, for those of you, some of you guys, I know that y'all heard about Will with that one clip where he was like, don't record me. And she kept recording him. So for her red table talk, she addressed that. Minimally, but without Will. And he getting help. Like, I think at some point, like, I wouldn't have addressed it. Be the bigger person like Chris Rock. Just don't say anything. Because she had Janelle. Is her name Janelle? Janae?
Janelle. I think it's Janelle.
Her. Oh, she's so cute. Cute little girl.
Janelle Monae?
Is that who that was? Yeah, that's the one. She always wore the black and white. She looked fly. She's fly. She had her on there. But she was talking, I guess a statement was necessary, but was it? I don't know. Amber, go.
I think it wasn't necessary. I think that just like a lot of other people in Hollywood, they profit off of their private family matters. And that's what it's really kind of turning into. And her private marital issues. Because a lot of things were shared publicly that didn't need to be shared. Like, they could have addressed what was floating around. They could have addressed the evidence that was going around and not said nothing more to the situation in that. And I do feel like it was about, marketing her show and profiting off her show.
See, that's
what I think. So.
And I agree with you, but he didn't like that. And he didn't like it on that one thing, so why would you do that at such a pivotal time? Like,
they seem like they have a very, rocky, contentious type of relationship dynamic. I think that they're more about presenting an image, as they both confess to, as opposed to being real, because I think their real marriage is much more catty. You know what I'm saying? Vindictive. And everyone has, vindictive does things like that. You know what I'm saying? It happens, but it seems like way worse than what they're presenting to the public. And now, because, I don't know, but I think it's still Age of Aquarius, but everything's being revealed. And so the true dynamic of their marriage, I think, is what is being revealed, which is not so pretty, not so healthy.
It's jacked up. Nick, weigh in.
Yeah. At this point, I think Will just need to go ahead and just call it quits. Your kids are grown now, so you can't use that excuse. She's toxic, and it's like the world is really seeing her true character now. She's toxic, and that he needs to leave. He needs to just call it quits. I guess he's worried about because she's going to get half of his money or whatever, but bruh, that shouldn't matter. Just give her whatever you're going to give her and then move on, because yeah, messing with her, you won't have no career.
Right. And I think that even the whole I don't want to lose half of my wealth is, to me, it's almost like the kid's excuse. It really comes off as an excuse to me. Look at Jeff Bezos. He cut his check and kept pushing. Even freaking that other Bill Gates. When you get to I feel like when you get to a certain level of income, I mean, it don't matter. It's like, it's an excuse. Like, you talking about for the kids and whatever. If it's really toxic and unhealthy, it might not be good for the kids. If, you so pressed about this money, like, is your mental health worth that money? So I feel like even the money thing, like, oh, I don't want her taking half of my money, to a point that can become just an excuse too. Listen,
take my money. Have it. Do with it what you will, because that is so toxic to me. I've never seen such toxicity, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? I have never seen it. You know how you end friendships? They borrow you $15. Look, I said 15. You heard that, right? Somebody was trying to get into the club, but they borrowed $15. I had to go there, Amber. And you'll be like, okay, am I going to get it back? And you don't get it back. So you just cut off that money flow. You're like, okay, I'm done. And every time I do see him, I say, because it was a guy, I do say, where's my money? Serena, I know you listening. And Serena going to be like, oh my gosh. Because it's been about 9 years. I'm still talking about my $15. Like, that's a guy. Like, but here's $15. Boom, done. Ain't got to deal with you no more. Bye.
Basically, that's it.
I really feel strongly about giving men money, so I wouldn't have gave it to him.
Okay, yeah, I had to say that in there just to end the relationship. So with Will, he has so much money anyway, so be done with her. And I think that the American people, well, he worldwide, you know what I mean? I think people will be back on his side. And it's sad that we are projecting our feelings. It's like, listen, we cool with you if you leave her. Almost like that Bobby Whitney. Whitney, we love you, Whitney. We'll like you if you get rid of Bobby. But then she was the one. Look, she was the one that was jacked up.
Exactly. So we don't know the whole story. I don't know.
Y'all know, but I just thought that was poor taste. And I understand she has her business, but you back at the red table like nothing happened. I mean, that's professionalism, but
and then like when you had talked about how she put him on blast, like talking about I don't need you to protect me, I was just like, ooh.
Okay, she felt like that at that point.
Herself from him.
If she really felt like that at that point when she saw him standing up, she should have grabbed him. Or when she saw him getting ready, I'd have been like, hey,
Yeah, you hit that. Psst. Or you know what? At that moment, if he didn't move, I would have actually got up with my green ruffle, the whole big ruffle, and went that direction. Everybody would have seen it, like, I don't know what's going on, and then they could have went to commercial break.
It just whispered in his ear, don't do that now. If that's how she really felt, she had ample opportunity to stop her husband. Period, point blank.
And like I said, I don't think she's responsible for him. He's a grown man. Yeah. But I think the laugh afterwards kind of sealed the deal. Like, she was for it. So
I knew she was for from day one.
Threw him under the bus.
After the fact,
So therefore, if that's how you really felt, you should have got up and you should have kind of like tapped him and been like, hold off, this your night, wait until afterwards.
Right, and I think that they're both of them are trying to clean it up, and that's why she's made the statement after the fact, talking about he don't need to stand up for her, even though in the moment she laughed. So, and then he's out here trying to clean up. That's why he went and slapped him in the face in the first place, because he's trying to clean up. He's trying to backpedal, with his marriage with her. Like, it's just very reactionary and not proactive. And I feel like that's when you're trying to keep up an image. You're not being true to yourself. Then you got to keep reacting.
Clear.
Listen, I do have, like, with that whole incident, though, I'm going to need them Rock brothers to go ahead and sit it on down, because Chris is a grown man, just like Will is a grown man.
But you know what? Let me say this. It's different. I was watching Angela Yee, and she had Marlon Wayans on there. And Marlon was talking. Yeah, it was Marlon. Marlon was talking, and when he was speaking, he was saying it's different. So, and I'm going to tell you why. He said as a brother. He said it's different as a brother. Listen, I know even with mine, she'll tell you. I can say what I want, and that's me talking about my sibling. You do something to her, oh, we got a big problem. We got a big problem. And I don't dare put your hands on her, because don't dare put your hands on her. I ain't be like Mike Tyson or have somebody else do it, okay?
And I got a lot of nerve, because that's how I feel about my brother.
But it's different when you be like, we can take it. Right. But when you dealing with a sibling, you be like, and you know your sibling, you know how nice they are. You know what I mean? Now, she off the chain, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. But it's a difference. And I'm talking about mine personally. But when he said my brother, he was like, it's different. He'd be like, yeah, you could do this, but not my brother. Even though your brother may be able to handle their own, but it's a difference. So when Marlon said that, I laughed so hard because he said, now, if that was Tony, he said, now Tony is a sense of humor away from doing life in prison. That's what Marlon said. He was like, so it would have been different. But with Chris is the little, the oldest brother. And if they know everything, they know the background of their brother. Because even way before this happened, I was watching, because I like to study people, what's going on, what happened, let me get what's going on so I can talk about it, okay? And it was a while ago that he was talking about how he was bullied. So his brothers know what he's gone through. And then for you to come and do that, it's like, I mean, I'm not mad at him. I know how I used to be. I do. I know how I used to be. And I know that I'm one that'll sit there, and I'm a work in progress, because I will hold on. It'd be third grade. I don't know why I ain't like you, but I still don't. I am that person. It's like, nope. And you're right. Keep it 100.
I still don't like it,
And be like, I don't know what it was about. What was it about? You know what I mean? And then you'd be like, but I just remember this. And I remember a time where a female, my sister was friends with this female. I read people well, and I'm just being authentic. I didn't like her. And so she tails on me. Because when she introduced us and I didn't speak. Well, I don't think that was rude. I'm just not speaking to her because I don't like her. And I know that I don't already. But I have that. I'll be like, nope, something about him. I'm not interested. That's it. I'm not invested. So that's it. So she goes and she tells on me. And she's like, she was so rude and da-da-da-da. No, I thought I was okay. I thought I was okay because I wasn't feeling that vibe. That vibe wasn't right. It wasn't authentic. And guess what? It really wasn't authentic. You know why? Because she was foul toward my sister. She ended up being foul. It took some time, but she ended up being foul. And guess what I said? Told you I ain't like her. The end. And there was nothing that I could, say, because I already wasn't feeling her. I don't want to be in your presence. I am that person. I don't even want to be, if you don't have like that good energy or that authentic energy, it's like, be who you are is cool. If you want to be, I don't know, I might get cut off here. Where the bail at? If you want to be a hoe, look, be that. Don't fake the funk and then sleep with my dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me know what I'm dealing with. You know what I'm saying? That's what I just let me know what I'm dealing with, and all is well. But you got to give me that real energy. Don't give me that where I got to sit there and be looking like I'm trying to have a good time. I ain't got time to be looking to see if the person I'm with dropping something in my ginger ale or my cranberry and orange juice. You know what I'm saying? Like right. That, even though I'm going to tell you this, children do not, teenagers, young adults, young adults, because you got to be 18, 21 and over. Never, ever leave your drink, friend or not. I just got to put it out there. Never, ever leave it, friend or not. When you walk away, it's over. Okay, because I seen it happen with one of our people that was we were all out. We were all out having a good time. It was the DJ Quick concert. Never forget it. And I remember we went to take a picture, and a friend of mine left her drink right there on the bar. Like the picture place. We went to take the photo right there. Went to take it. Came back. She did pick her drink up. I saw that because I was just sitting there. Now I don't drink. And I'm looking through. I said, it's a fire in the bathroom. I seen it was a fire. Nobody seen the fire because I could see. And probably about 20 minutes after that, she was doing cartwheels down the main street. And in our home, it was Glenwood. We're like, what the heck wrong? What happened? Have not been the same since. Still walking around with Michael Jackson albums under her arm. Which I understand the Michael Jackson thing, because she always liked him. But still, you have to be careful. And I know I'm segueing away to this, but even if you see somebody, if you watch your drink or you see the barmaid or the bartender pouring the drink in front of you, watch that ice. Okay? Because it could be on that ice and then they pour it in front of you, you think all is well. Some people that'll be with you or, sideways, not really liking you, they will do stuff to you, will harm you. Envy is something. Jealousy is something major. So you have to be careful with who you're with. Again, why I don't be fooling with people. That energy be off. I'll be like, nope, I'm bringing my homegirl. Oh, okay. Listen here. This is what I bring.
Right.
I be having my water. They be probably thinking
I
they probably be thinking I'm like a drunk. Like, there she go. What she got in there?
I drink. If I have to walk away, if I'm with somebody, I trust that person only. Watch my drink, and same thing for them. If there's nobody with me and I'm by myself, I either finish my drink, take it with me, or ask the barmaids, can you put this down there? And they'll, okay, yeah, put my glass down up under this. Yeah.
You trusting. You're very trusting.
Right.
Cause,
well, I don't ask all of the barmaids.
Okay.
Specific ones that I do trust.
That you know. Okay.
Yeah, those are the ones that I give my drink to, and they'll put it up. They'll put it up for me, and then when I come back, they'll give it back. I ain't just leaving. I ain't doing that.
Go ahead, Amber.
I'm crazy by myself. I don't need no help.
Go ahead, Amber.
I don't leave my drink anywhere. I don't leave it. I don't ask nobody to watch it. I don't like when other people ask me to watch your drinks. Like, I will take my drink with me anywhere I'm going, even in the bathroom. Like, I will not take my eyes off my own drink. If I'm taking a picture, my cup is going to be in my hand. Okay, it's with me. It's with me, right. Or it's in my body. It's getting drank or it's being held, but it's not getting sat down. Yeah. Very,
very good. It's something, but it has to be addressed. So, teachable moment. Your girl got to get you covered. got to keep you covered, okay? So, with saying that and like envy, what do you think about married couples? Have you seen or do you think that married couples can be envious of each other?
Yeah, for sure. Leads to divorce.
Mm-hmm. But how does that work? That your spouse is jealous of you?
I think it's usually
if you're making more money than him,
more educated, better social circles, better family. Ooh, that's a good one, and that could go both ways. If your family comes from a higher socioeconomic background, or
your
family, people who come from broken homes, have narcissistic parents, addicted parents, whatever, they come and get with somebody who's coming from a healthy 2-parent household. It ain't perfect, but there's love. You can feel jealous. Like, why you got what? Why couldn't I have a good fucking childhood? Excuse me. Right. That's, what I'm saying? That's easily be jealous off of that. Oh, for sure.
So, okay. So if you come from different socioeconomic backgrounds, you could see the jealousy there.
And if you guys have ever dated up or dated down, and there's it's there, and it's and either you're cool with it or you're not. Yeah. But it's pretty much always there, and when there's a substantial gap, it's gonna be there. It's better if you're the one. If they're up high. Date up. You know what I'm saying?
Date up. Yeah. But you know what though? And here's the thing. Usually people who do date down, you find that they are constantly focused on trying to make them feel better or fixing that person that it takes from them. Or they find themselves in an abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm. And that's something within yourself that you have to acknowledge, that why are you getting attracted to? Why do you feel an attraction to project relationships, project dynamics?
Air quotes, lovely people.
Oh yeah. Yes. You know what I'm saying? Like build a man type of person. Like if he has some shortcomings and some struggles, pray for him, pray over him, give a heartfelt prayer, a couple prayers, and keep it pushing. You should be like, no, let me come Bob the Builder and fix him. That's something in you that's not healthy.
I've tried that with a relationship, not a marriage. And yeah, I ain't built nothing else. We gonna build together, or you gonna get left behind. In fact, somebody's gonna look at you.
That's what I was like. I can't build it after 40.
I can't. When a man says, I want somebody to build with, red flag, swipe left, you're dismissed next. Don't ask me to build at our big age.
No, listen. This is what I'm talking about. Like, the status that you're with the person at the same status and you want better. You're building together. You're building better together. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I ain't talking about that. Nah, we got to be matching energies, matching everything. Yeah. And we want better. We want to be at the next level. We're building it together. We're getting to the next level together. But we coming in 100 equal. Okay, and building together. That's what I'm talking about, girl. I just did that build a man one time, and that was the last time. I'm not trying to build another nut.
Now that's interesting.
I'm a builder, and I stopped playing with Legos a long time ago.
Now, Nick, you're so kind, because see, you're okay. So here's my thing. I'm trying to move up, not over.
That's why I said, and that's why I said, like, if you're being honest with yourself, and if you have been hypergamous in dating, I mean, you do kind of feel a little bit when you meet somebody and they're coming from a better background than you. They're coming from a wealthier family than you. And it's just like, wow, dang, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, wow, like, compared to my childhood, dang, right? You know, it's a natural feeling. But if you're always the upper one, because you like to date down and build men up, you've never had that experience, so you can't relate, you know. But yeah, it happens. I mean, it's something that you should just address and keep pushing and have a good relationship with, a healthy understanding of. But it definitely happens all the time.
And I believe it 110%. You want to go to the comments?
Okay. Salvage said, "Nah, just run me the money. I'm a great builder." TF.
Right? TF, I heard that.
Okay.
Like, just run me my money. I'm good. She was like, I can build. You know what's interesting? What's interesting is when you said dating up and the project. I wanted to comment on that. I remember dating somebody, and I'm from the projects. So project is a state of mind. And I think that that's what he thought too. He thought the same thing. So I guess it was so funny because I can't remember verbatim what he said, but it pretty much meant like, okay, you're not from the projects and you got your 2-family household. Don't know my situation. Yeah, didn't know that my father was in the war and his mind wasn't right. Didn't know any of that, you know. But just like, okay, you look at, okay, well, here's a single mom. She from the projects. Well, I'm going to be the best thing that ever happened. And they said it to me. And I laughed so hard because guess what? When you approached me, you didn't do your homework. Because I have never, not that it was intentional, dated anybody that didn't have anything to offer. And here's what was interesting. Me being, living in the projects, the thing that was interesting to me was I had no idea I was in poverty. So when you look at it, and I was laughing, and it sounded like my childhood was my childhood was amazing. But it seemed like you had 2-family household and you chilling, living up the hill, let's say up the hill, whatever, you know what I mean? With both your parents. Okay, that's good. That's great. And I'm in the project. So you take that, been out for years, but still in their mind, clearly it was, projects. Okay. Your life was worse than mine. You know what I mean? Because you see that big, beautiful house, but y'all ain't got bread. You know what I mean? Stuff like that, and not even not warm because it costs so much to heat the house. Listen, I told you I went over to one of my friends' house and it was so cold. I didn't understand why it was so cold. Well, they had this big, beautiful home, but it was empty. So are you living for a status to look this way for other people? Or are you intelligent enough to say, okay, I'm going to do this and build and then get. This is what I have right now. I'm going to play the hand that's dealt to me right now, and then I'm going to move forward. Now, a lot of people didn't, a lot of people that I communicate with, they had no idea, that I, lived in the projects. And it's like, oh, okay, because they met me on the other half when my mom had built and boom, you know what I mean? And worked. So a lot of people feel like people who live in government housing don't work. They do. My mother worked at the post office. So you don't know the situation, but you do have, to your point, Amber, you do have those people that will feel like they're better than. And in this situation, they support you 80%. And then they want to pull back. But you got to know to watch. What do I mean by that? Oh, I'm behind you 110%. And you think this person is behind you. But then when they see that you're gaining momentum, they're like, ah. So that's that 80%. It's like I'm behind you 99. I'm there. Oh, wait a minute. You're shining. I'm stagnant. Back up.
One thing I want to, two things actually now.
Go ahead.
One thing I would say is when, there's an imbalance, like you're not on the same, and this could, especially for friendships, like, one's higher than the other. It's one of those situations where someone can support you and encourage you as long as you're not doing better than them.
Boom. What's that about?
The was when you said, I've never intentionally dated someone that has nothing to offer me. I'm like, hold up, because I very intentionally don't date people that don't have nothing to offer me. That's very intentional.
Nothing
to offer. We not dating.
Well, that's why I said I never intentionally. That's what I meant to say. I never intentionally dated somebody that didn't have anything. That's what I meant to say.
Oh, okay. I was confused. Okay, yeah. Definitely.
I'm like, you got to have something going, especially at 40.
Right.
At 40.
Yeah.
It's different if you're there like 20. You know what I'm saying? You're young. But like I said, at our big age, come on. Come on now.
I'm like, man, I ain't doing it. Not doing it at all. So we done with that. Now, Mike Tyson, the fight on the airplane. And that's a sigh, lovely people. The silence is like, ah.
If he wasn't a famous boxer, it would have, the headlines, this is why you should not trust media. The headlines would have read, 40-year-old, I don't know how old he's like 50. 40, 50.
Who?
Like 50.
I think we talked about that. Yeah, like mid-50s.
50-year-old man defends himself from being harassed by a drunk passenger. That's it. That's
the end.
Happened.
But
because he's Mike Tyson, he has lethal hands. It's like, blah, blah, blah. No, he was drunk and he was asking for it. So,
go ahead, Nick.
Because he is a fighter, his hands are registered as deadly weapons.
Right.
That is why they're getting him. I don't blame him 100%. I'm 100% behind him because that guy was bothering him. He took a selfie with him, and then and just kept egging him on.
Well, let's add that extra part though that we're missing. He threw a bottle at him.
Yeah.
So there you go. Let's talk about that assault first.
Because I know someone who is an amateur boxer who had to serve time in jail for defending his sister.
But that's different.
The boyfriend jumped on the sister and beat her up really, really bad. So he defended his sister.
Okay.
Sounds like a bad lawyer because he definitely should have got off.
Well,
he came and assaulted. He assaulted him. Oh yeah, he assaulted
with a glass eye, but still, yeah.
And that's a sister, though.
That was his sister.
But with Mike is himself. The assault was on him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, but still, because their hands are registered as lethal weapons, they are going to try to make a case out of them. But you already know me. You know how I roll. I would have knocked him slap out. Period, point blank. So, I ain't mad at Mike. You did what you had to do because you were minding your business.
He was really minding his business.
Something at you.
And it was 420, and he got that CBD business. The gummies. So, like, he was on chill mode, had to be.
It actually, to me, is like, oh boy, was trying to set him up.
Oh, yes.
Oh, well, yes.
Yes.
And he fell for it. But here's my thing. Same issue I had from the very first time we was talking about Jada and Will. Why would you allow your man to go up there on stage? Who was with Mike? That was my thing.
He seems like he's the type of man who don't take guidance or correction.
Wait a minute, but here's my thing. If I'm with one of you guys, and I know you got deadly hands, I got you. Bail me out. You know what I mean? That's why I was like,
yeah, I think he was by himself. It looked like
he was by himself. It seemed like he was by himself.
I seen one person there that was talking. But go ahead. But that was on JetBlue too.
Right. I just feel like I want to make it racial, make everything racial.
But go ahead.
I just feel like it was partly because he's a black man, and I feel like we're in a culture still where it's not okay for us as black people, because we have the angry black woman stereotype, to defend ourselves, even after being physically harmed. And I understand, like I said, he has lethal hands. I understand that. But still, like, he initiated the situation. And then Mr. Tyson responded. I mean, it's like, oh, we're black in America, so we supposed to let people whoop on us. And how dare we respond? And he should have turned the other cheek or waited or get knocked upside the head a few more times by other objects. Like, right. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, no.
It's crazy.
He would have been tearing that plane up. But then again, where were the air marshals or the other flight attendants tended to that man? To
say, sir, you'll be escorted off. We will land this plane.
Yeah, to keep it from getting that far. Exactly.
Well, I haven't watched it. I've heard about it. I'm assuming they didn't really intervene because the situation escalated quickly.
Well, I mean,
is that why?
I don't know, but you know what I will say? If you see Mike Tyson and somebody going at it, will you really intervene? Do you want the black eye or not? That's one. If it's females, you know what I mean? If it's females, I think that Mike probably would have been like, listen. But if you see somebody that's irate, I have been on planes where somebody is totally drunk and they'll be like, we're going to stop the plane, or somebody over the overhead, will come and be like, remain in your seat. That type thing.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what should have been done before it got to the point where Mike had to get up and defend himself. Before you seen him study, okay, he took a picture with him, leave it alone. But when you seen him study, picking and talk, somebody at that point should have got up and said something. Period, point blank. So to me, I don't care. That was a whole setup.
Or he should have. He should have alerted the stewardess or whatever, like, he's harassing me. I'm feeling harassed. You know how some folks like to be like, I don't feel safe. I feel threatened. Okay,
yeah.
That's all you need to say to like, listen, it's gonna pop off in a second. I'm gonna say what I need to say.
Like somebody come get this man for he slide him down his aisle.
But, and I understand that they're not his bodyguards if he was by himself. So they're probably like, okay, well, I don't need to protect him. But at some point, just protect your people that's on the flight. Isn't that your duty?
Right.
Protect the customers. At least they tell you when it's about to go down. You know what I mean?
In the air. You're in the air. You're in the air. It's not like you're on ground transportation. You're in the air.
It's just wild. They got to do something better than that. I guess JetBlue, if they didn't have any of the air marshals on, which they should have never taken them off after 9/11. They should always have, some on there. And it's like, come on, give me a break. So I'm thinking, I don't know if JetBlue, I've never flew or flown JetBlue. I don't know if they have like first class or not. Just something to think about. Right. Because I guess they're supposed to be cheaper, but you have to get, you got to pay for all the bags. So you might as well just go ahead and go my spot.
Like Southwest.
That's what I'm like, my spot, and just be like, okay, and then you get to do it. Now, to your point, Amber, when you were saying how, the angry black woman or black men, some of them, they feel threatened by a black man. You got a white guy antagonizing a black guy, and then as soon as he lay hands on him, you all upset and saying that he's bigger and all this other stuff. And it's always that puny person that's always talking smack. But I wanted to say this. I was watching a debate, political debate, and I think it was for Senate in PA. And there was a black guy on there. And I had to question, when he first started and he said his name, and he was a bigger black guy, what he said was, when he introduced himself, he said, as a gay black man. That kind of resonated with me because I was wondering, I was like, why did he actually have to say his sexual preference? Was it to make himself not look so aggressive or be more accepting? Like, I'm not your heterosexual rah black man, but as a gay black man. I said, why did he introduce himself that way? He didn't even have to say, we see that you're black. I don't care who you sleep with. Can you tell me what you're going to do for PA? Right. And exactly. I was wondering what that was. And I said, is that just to get the gay vote, or are you trying to soften it and where you're like, I won't be aggressive. Vote for me. I won't be aggressive. And I'm using air quotes for the listening audience.
I think it definitely, I feel like, as an outsider, because I'm not a member of the LGBTQIAA+ community.
You good. You had that down.
I think I still missed a couple letters, but I try to keep up. But it seems like a lot of them place their sexual orientation over their race. But just like other people, other minorities, whether it's because they're foreign, or it's because of their wealth, or it's because of their education, or it's because of whatever, they're going to get their wake up call eventually. Okay? You get your wake up call.
You see what happened with Ketanji Brown Jackson? They played her. People walked out, and she's like the elite of the elitist.
Right. And so it's just like, I think that's something I've observed as an outsider with a lot of black LGBTQ people, is they tend to place their sexual orientation over their race. And that's just what it is. And then I think the other half of it is, to be less intimidating. And I'm trying to think of that one black politician from Tallahassee, Florida, who, turned out to have all this mess going on in his private life, and drugs and hotels. And
a whole bunch of everything?
A whole bunch of everything was going on. But he presented himself politically as heterosexual. That turned out to be not quite true. and then Barack Obama, and he's half white, and they was dragging him for filth. So I mean, and he was presented himself as heterosexual, married to a black woman, whatever. So I definitely think that, I don't know, because I kind of low-key feel like I'm making excuses, but I feel like a lot of black men in politics have to soften. They have to have something to soften that, because particularly white society views black men in a very one-dimensional way.
Okay.
But then on the flip side, you've got, 3-4 times as many black women entering politics on like state, local government level. So, you know what I'm saying? It's still like low-key an excuse too at the same time. So, I don't know.
I just feel like, why do we have to say that?
And okay, so you don't have to. And that's the truth, and I think that's a part of taking accountability. Anybody tells me to say that, he chose to say that. He felt that was the correct way, the ideal way, the most strategic way to introduce himself. Like, that's what he prioritized about himself. Not his political positions, not his agenda, but his orientation and his race.
Okay.
And it's just like, and I feel like that goes into like you said, I don't care, and that's obvious. So why do we reiterating something obvious? I feel like when politicians do that, it's to deflect from the fact that their agenda, their policies, their intentions are weak.
And that's what I was wondering, like, why are we overshadowing this? Why are we focused on that? Because that was it brought me in. And I was like, okay, and that's what I was stuck on. And I didn't hear anything he said, because I was stuck on, why is it necessary? Like, we could see that.
Right.
And I don't vote for people just because they're black, and that is the truth.
Right.
I vote for the best person.
And we should not. And I can't even remember their name, but they was talking about Kajani Brown Jackson.
Katanji.
I'm sorry. Murdering it. But her husband being white, but then they was like, oh, well, she's going to do what someone has said, well, what example is that setting for young black girls? It says the same example that what Clarence Thomas was setting. What's your point? Come on now. Like, it's ridiculous. We shouldn't be, because you got the Clarence, and if you look at his history in his field, he wasn't nobody we should be supporting. Just because he was black, I mean, you got the ops, you got freaking splinter cells and your sleeper cells. Let's be real. So just because they got the color, don't mean that they're even for the community.
Boom. That part.
Right.
Therefore, and most people that I notice, how about that? Support your own, but they won't support you. So it's like, build me up. Go ahead, Nick. You got the floor.
Listen, that is the worst thing that black folks do. You always hollering about somebody supporting you, but then when it's your turn to do the supporting, you pick and choose who you want to support. If you want support from your community, you got to return that favor to your community, not just pick and choose at who you want to. You got to. It's a community effort.
Go ahead, Amber.
I'm going to piggyback off that and say that, as far as like you want support, and we got people, I'm going to say people to keep it friendly, that will criticize all the shortcomings of the community, but then our counterparts, when they attain success, when they attain wealth, when they attain resources, they hoard it to themselves, or they intentionally give it away to other communities. And it's just like, if that, and then, be like, well, there's all these single mothers, and that single mothers are the root of the issue of the black community. But it's like, you can't build up a community, you can't improve things if you are intentionally taking the resources you acquire and giving it to other communities, or saying, oh, once you acquire wealth, you have no obligation to the community, you have no obligation to your neighborhood, screw all them people, and you go run off and live in some nice neighborhood. You don't owe them nothing. Well, then, of course, that community that you're coming from, that you're also criticizing, is never going to improve. You can't have it both ways. And I feel like other demographics understand that, like, okay, no, charity starts at home. You take care of your own people first. And if you want to move on up,
can I ask you this? How long are you expected to take care of your people at home when they don't respect what you've done?
There's a lot of things like, like the Bill Gates Foundation, or, starting a program, what I'm saying? You can put things in place. A lot of things need a kickstart, but once it's established, and that's any business, it's supposed to be self-sustaining. So I don't say keep giving forever, but if you are in a position, my pastor, rest his soul, would say that you can only give when you are in a state of overflow. So if you are
now that's a word.
Overflow, you can't give. But when you are in overflow, when you have abundance,
when your cup runneth over, go ahead.
You give the extra. So it shouldn't be no skin off your back. No way. But yeah, and I feel like this is something I observe. When the conversation I hear, the excuses I hear is that when you finally get into a state of overflow, you ain't got to give them your overflow. You keep that overflow for yourself. But you already good. If you weren't good, you wouldn't be in overflow.
Okay. So you give to your community, but you're not able to. Your overflow is not in that much of an abundance to give to every single person that decides to start a nonprofit. So with that being said, it's like you don't give to your community because you didn't give to that organization. And it's like, wait, but I'm giving over here. But these people know that I've given, and I don't have to show you or post it or do a video of what I'm actually doing. Mm-hmm. Speak to that.
I think that when you the saying that good deeds, the left hand should know what the right hand is doing, and you're not supposed to. Your glory is when you if you're doing good things, good deeds for the attention and the praise of others, that's all you're going to get. You're not going to get recognition in heaven from the Heavenly Father.
Right.
So I think that, you're supposed to do things quietly. It reminds me of that one billionaire who gave the Morehouse graduates, paid off all their student loans.
Wasn't that amazing?
It was amazing.
But you didn't have, how did it get out?
Right. And so, and I think that is one of them things where it's a one and done. So now they're starting into their career with no debt. That's a huge step up. I mean, that's a huge leg up in life to just graduate from college debt free. That's amazing, right? And so people are talking about comparing him to what he did to Oprah Winfrey. And they're like, well, because she's Illuminati and blah, 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 and she's evil. But when you actually go through her records of her charitable donations and her organizations and stuff she's done quietly, she actually outpaces him. She's actually done more and donated more than him. But people don't know that, and she's not out here broadcasting it to the world. And that's what that reminds me of.
Go ahead, Nick, your thoughts?
I grew up with somebody who went off to college. Their family was able to send them to Switzerland for college. Right now he is a millionaire. He might be a billionaire, he and his husband. And that was the first thing a lot of people were saying, well, he need to give back to the community, this and that. You don't know what people always running their soup coolers. I want to say something else. I'm going to keep it PG. Soup coolers. And they have been running them for years, talking about what this man should be doing with the community. Not knowing what he was doing behind. He has a lot of charitable events. He does a lot of things. He's opened a lot of businesses. Well, this last couple of years, he finally is within the city of Farrell, starting to pour back into, now it's known that he's been pouring back into the community. He had been trying to do certain things. but he was getting stopped because of his sexual preference.
Oh.
Which don't make no difference. But, now that the new mirror, you grew up with, friends with mother and father and everything, and just, they're able to start doing things now. But, yeah, that was a lot of the talk as to why, previously, like, things that he was trying to do was being stopped because of that. It don't matter. But a lot of people were also talking like, well, he should have been doing this, and how come he ain't doing this and he got this money? You don't know what this man was doing or what he went through. And so, like, a lot of times, like you said, you don't have to tell everybody or show everybody what you're doing. You just keep doing what you're doing. Let them keep talking, because then when the outcome comes out, then that's going to be the one that looks stupid. You know what they say? You never assume, because when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. No, you make an ass out of you. You ain't making no ass out of me.
You brought up a great point, Nick, and the point that you brought up is being stopped in the community. And that happens. Some people feel like, okay, well, you can't do anything unless you go through the leaders or whoever it is. Like, how did you get this or how did you do that without going through the leaders or this core group? And it's real. And I'm just putting it out there. You'll have younger people like we had in this area. You had the younger people saying that they won't let us in. And I remember that. I remember, like, the younger people trying to step up and get involved in the community. They won't let us in. And it's almost like, well, wait, is it a certain age that you have to be in order to get let in or to be a part or to build the community? And what Nick was saying was he probably will stop. Now, that's one point. Second point is, if I'm out and about, and I'm just going to say me because I don't have a problem with using me as an example. If I'm out and about and I'm doing my thing and I'm living in Switzerland, you don't know the cost of living in Switzerland. So if this is my house, do I have to live mediocre so that I can get back to my community? How about I want this house that I work for and this is where I want to stay? What did Jay-Z said it? More money, more problems. More money, more bills, as my mama say.
Right.
Because you like what you like and you're in a different lifestyle. So how can you over there tell me or count my coins and tell me what I need to be doing when you don't know my bills? Your bill might be 150. Mine to heat up something might be 600. So you don't know my overflow.
Right. And like you said, if you are like, oh, I'm going to lower my quality of living so that I can give charitably, then you're not in overflow.
Right.
You will be fulfilling all of your desires and all of your wishes and have additional on top of that. Oh, I forgot what I was going to say about the Switzerland.
Go ahead and shout your pastor out. Shout your pastor out. Well,
Pastor Locke.
Okay. Rest in peace.
But as far as not allowing the young people in and like thinking that you have to go through certain channels, and you do. I mean, you do need to follow the steps. I feel like that's a lot of people have great intentions, but they don't want to follow the rules and do things orderly, and then it ends up falling apart. Do the work, do the background work, do the research, do all the prep stuff, so that the end result is successful. And just to tie it into like the very much younger population, Nipsey Hussle. A lot of people said his death was a great example of what happens when it's because it's a certain chunk of the population, the black population, tried to give back to the community. And look how that turned out with him. And I'm not saying that's not true. It's very true. But when you're operating in light, you are literally fighting the darkness. Don't think, I'm trying to be a good person, so it's supposed to be easy. It is much harder to be a good person than to be a bad person. It is much harder to positively influence your neighborhood and your friends and your community than to be a negative influence. The easy route is doing bad stuff, doing the negative stuff, doing the illegal stuff. It is hard and it's a lonely road to do the right thing in the right order and to follow the rules, right? To be giving, to be generous, to be godly. Especially, I feel like for black men, that is a very lonely place to be, and there is so much opposition and resistance, and you are literally fighting demons.
And that is why a lot of these young men turn to do, selling drugs and, life of crime because it's easier for them than when they try to do the right. Because some of them will tell you, I try to do the right thing, I try to do this and do that, and, So yeah, that's why it's so much easier for them to do those things, because when they are trying to do good or whatever, they're getting stopped or they're getting judged or
pushed back. But and I think what it really comes down when you really start getting you're lazy. It's laziness and it's a desire to take the easy path. If you really had strength, if you really had fortitude, if you really had integrity, you would stay in the light. You would stay in. You would be alone. You would get harassed and talked about and shunned. Okay, and stay in the light and do what you know is right. But it's like, oh, this is easy, so I'm gonna do it. Well, you're lazy.
Basically, because baby, listen, I'm an example of it right now since I've been down here. But I am doing what I have to do. Working is 3 jobs. Trying to strive, doing what I have to do, because at the light at the end of that tunnel that I'm walking towards is going to reward me for the rest of my life and possibly my family, and I mean my immediate family, me and my brother and his children. That's what I'm working for, because I don't have any kids. So yes,
now that's a nice
hard.
sister.
It's hard.
It's very hard,
and
it's so hard. It is so hard to do right.
So I'm the mama.
Yeah.
Okay.
My parents are going, I'm the mama. So I'm, but it's very hard, but you got to do it. Trust me, there's been days that I sit and just bust out crying because, yes, I do want to come back home.
You want to come back to the yo?
I want to come back home, but baby, listen. At the end of the day, I made the best choice for me. Whether the other party it decided that it wasn't the best choice for him, peace, love, and hair grease, because we talked about this, and I asked you up until the day we left. But I made the best choice for me, and and trust me, it's gonna be lovely.
It is.
By fourth quarter.
It is. It's interesting.
Be lovely, but yes, if you want something bad enough, you got to be willing to put in the work. It's not going to be easy. There's going to be hard days. And I'm not going to lie. I'm going to tell everybody, yeah, I'm struggling because I'm doing it by myself now. I'm struggling.
You know what? I'm a firm believer of nothing is by accident. God already has your story written.
Exactly.
And sometimes we like to hold on to things, and God will try to remove them and close the door. And then, sometimes God will drop you off and say, here you go. Let's do this test, the test of time. Maybe let me remove you here. Let me show you where the commitment is at.
Exactly.
And you sometimes you have to go through that and be like, oh, well, wait a minute. The commitment wasn't with me. The commitment is here. I'm just a tag along. So that lets you know your value and your importance to the individual. Maybe they just don't know what they have, and maybe there's something more for you somewhere else. Let me show you where your Boaz is at. Okay.
Listen, one of the comments my niece's mom talked about, come home, sis. Then she said, you got this. Thank you, baby. I love you.
Oh, definitely you got it. You got it.
I think that to help with things is like we really need to get that message out there, to have that understanding that if you're trying to do right, expect opposition, expect pushback, expect to be alone, expect to be ostracized.
Yes.
And trust me, it's not going to come from strangers. It's going to come from family.
Woo!
Girl, you better listen to that.
Your friends.
That's supposed to have your back. That's who it's going to come from. But baby, listen. I know God got me. That's why I'm going to continue to fight and do what I got to do.
because I'm getting there. But it's not going to come from strangers, y'all. It's going to come from the people that's supposed to have your back, that's supposed to love you unconditionally. That's where it's going to come from.
That's how the enemy works.
I'm not giving up and I'm not giving in. Because he did not bring me this far to fail me. I'm sorry, y'all.
You don't have to apologize for your truth and your testimony that is definitely going to help somebody.
Yes.
Clearly, because there's so many people going through so many different things, and you feel like, oh, okay, well, I expect it from my enemy. I expect it from somebody out in the street that don't know me. But that doesn't hurt you, though. Think about it. Yeah. If somebody out in the street is doing something, you know, no love lost, that my check, yep, it's still the same amount, that didn't affect it. It's going to be that person that's right there that you trust.
Right. Because how else can the enemy get in?
There you go.
They got to find a path, a means to get in, to get into your mind, to get into your heart, to bring in, you know, one of my favorite things to say is God is not the author of confusion. So when you got people, situations, circumstances, bringing in confusion, bringing in doubt, bringing in anxiety, bringing unsure, that ain't God.
No, exactly.
That ain't God.
Child, you better say it, because I'll put a child out. Look, I'm like, I'll put a child out. As soon as they come in with all that confusion, I'm like, stop. We're not doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exit.
It's like, and then for somebody to put you through all that, but then don't want to let go.
That's because you got to let go.
I let go.
Yes.
You have to let go.
Go.
Yes.
You have to let go.
I'm tired of fighting that fight. I let go.
Listen, when somebody, what is it, the crabs in the barrel, and they holding on to your ankle, and you climbing up, and they constantly holding on to your ankle, sweetheart, kick the shoe off and keep them moving. Let them hold on to that shoe.
Right. Let them keep the shoe.
There's that memory. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay? And keep on moving. And you have to know, like I said, even just being there, you have to know that there's a purpose. You listen, just like you said, he ain't brought me this far, literally, all the way across country.
Exactly.
All the way across to leave you, okay?
Exactly.
Literally. You went.
Definitely.
And don't.
I've been going through it.
But guess what? Don't feel like, I'm going to say this to you. Don't feel like a failure. Don't feel like you failed. You're just allowing God to order your steps. Exactly. And you're taking that path. And I commend you on it. Let me get what my sound effects. Hold on. Let with the sound effects. Go ahead. Give your 2 cents.
Okay, so I don't know if y'all know this, but I lived in Florida for several years.
Okay.
And and that being multiple states away is very hard, especially if you're going through difficulty. And that's where my husband passed away at. And I ended up coming back home eventually. But it was a part of my journey, and it's a part of my story. And I felt like I grew so much. And after that experience, I had such a different perspective. And it reminds me of the story of the prodigal. Thank you, ma'am. The prodigal son. Growing up, I always related to the bitter, resentful son that stayed home with the dad. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, like who? You know, stiff necked. You know, listen, and I'm over here doing right, and don't nobody care that I'm doing right. But then, looking back, my experience going to Florida, that was my, prodigal son story. I needed to leave. I needed to go away. I needed to find myself. I needed to go through that experience so I can be enlightened with what the information that God wanted me to have. And then I came back, So this could be your story. This is, you're getting all kinds of downloads and information while you're out there. So, you're right where you're supposed to be at, and everything that's happening is what's supposed to be happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
And you were supposed to deliver it for somebody else going through right here. So I appreciate it. I love a good testimony. I'm going to tell you, I love a good testimony.
For months.
But you know what? But I'm glad. I'm glad you released it. I'm glad you were able to release it. Because that's not good to just hold on to it. And just like, go ahead. What you got, Amber?
Okay, so after my husband died, so I was raised, and I feel like y'all can relate, where it's like, you don't cry. You know what I'm saying? You keep that to yourself. You hold it in. After my husband died, and it took a while, but it was an overflow. I couldn't hold it back. But now, whenever I get the urge to cry, I just go ahead and let it rip, because it really is toxic. It is literally sickening you to hold in sorrow, to hold in grief, to hold in despair,
It's
to hold in
cleansing.
tears in. When you hold in tears, you're actually making yourself more sick. It's so much better to let the tears come out. And I feel like this is particularly with Black women. Like, it doesn't mean you're weak. Again, going back to that strong Black woman trope, you know how I feel about that. But don't hold them tears in, because it's cathartic and it's going to help you move. You're going to move forward.
It's a cleansing.
Let go.
It's a cleansing.
It is a cleansing.
It's a
It
cleansing.
really is.
Yes.
Have you ever tasted your tears? And you taste that salt?
Yes.
It's a cleansing.
Cleansing. It's a cleansing.
It's a cleansing. And I must tell you another thing, and here I go with my nursing. You do realize that when stress, females, we carry stress in our reproductive system. And you want to know why you can't lose that stomach. Girl, you better cry. You better let it out. You better let it out. You be like, oh man, I'm feeling my stomach flat. What happened? I should cry more. Is that all? That's all water weight.
Gotta let it go, like they said, let go and let God.
And that's it.
Learning to do that.
And that's it. And you got to take your journey. Your journey is alone.
Yes.
So you have to take that so that you can hear. Because a lot of people are, you moved out. You like, moved out that old house into my new one. That ain't working. That ain't the house. Come on.
Right.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So.
And just like when we had Jean McKinney on a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
I'm gonna let the people know there was when she got started.
She was the spiritual
yes
advisor guy
that we had on. But before she got started, do you remember her saying, before we get in with the interview, but I have this, I have a message for somebody. I don't know who this is for, but she was actually talking to me.
Was
she didn't know it until after I called her, because that's what made me call her.
Okay.
And then there was another message that she had later on. She was talking, and then she was talking to the one lady that was watching, but it was something that she said. She's like, I don't know who this is for, but she's actually talking to me. And that message, I know was definitely, well, both of them I knew was definitely for me. But I don't know if anybody noticed, if you go back and watch, like at the beginning when she first said that, if y'all notice how I was moving and I was looking around, I was grabbing for tissue because I was going to start crying, man, because I knew she was talking to me. And then the other message, when she was talking about it's okay to let people go, she was talking to me and she was talking through my mother, or my mother was talking through her, actually.
Okay.
Because my mother always told me and my brother that about people that we thought were friends and things like that. She always told us. So that was my mother's message to me.
Mother knows best. How about your mother be the one be like, that ain't your friend?
And she
quick with it.
Until I talked, until we got on, and then, we got on the phone call and she said what she said to me. And she, speaking on my marriage and the in-law. And then when I got to telling her, and that's why I was really like, oh, wow. But when I told her about those two messages, she said, I did not know who that was for. She said, I didn't know who I was. I was like, you were talking to me. That is why I called you.
Oh, Jean is the bomb. And that's why I invited her on, because a lot of people, when you look at, they're like, oh, psychics, hold on, wait a minute, and get discouraged or witchery. And that's not Jeannie.
She's not. That was not her at all. And like I said, that message, especially that second message, that was my mother talking to me because of the situation that I've been going through. So, yeah.
You've been going through.
It was mind-blowing because I've always been a skeptic. I was always a skeptic. But that's what made me call her, because I knew those messages were specifically for me, especially the one from my mother, because my mom always, my niece's mom, she just said mom was a wise woman. My mother was a wise woman because she had that same gift. And she was always told that she had that gift, but she never really wanted to. But yes, so that was my mother talking through Jean.
Well, good. I know one thing, you have gone through a lot, extremely strong, extremely courageous. When you want something, you go after it and you do it. And you were adamant about leaving, and all the obstacles, that were there prior to you leaving. I mean, it was a lot.
It sure was.
It was a lot, and you still got there. So continue on your path.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the end result. Don't forget about us little people.
Yes.
All right. I want to.
I can't wait.
I want to get. Are you finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Or are you done? Look, are you finished or are you done? I mean, I'm gonna let you release. This your time. You good? All right. So when you hear, let me go back a little bit. We were talking about the community leaders having community leaders that won't allow the next person or the young adults in to step in and to do take over some of those positions. And to speak to what Amber was saying, you have to learn it. And it's easy to get a vote. It's so easy to get a vote. Okay, I'm gonna vote my friend in, but your friend they have yet to learn. They don't know what the actual job description is. It's like, oh, this is how do I do this? What does this mean? You got to do the legwork. So, for those who feel like, oh, okay, well, why do I have to go through this person? Well, they want to teach you. You have to have that foundation. You just can't go, bam, let me jump up here. You're going to sink. You will sink. So you have to get the foundation, do the research, watch the people. Don't just wake up one day and be like, okay, I want to do this. You be like, okay, wait a minute.
I think it goes into like, there's a resistance or a suspicion of higher education, which it really bothers me in the Black community. And it's just like, the whole point of higher education is so that you can say, hey, I know how to do this. I am skilled in this, and this big institution can back me up in saying that. I can verify that this big organization will back me up in saying, I know how to do X. Like, that's literally the point of higher education. And then we have some people, the people that like to bump their gums, think that you're supposed to just be able to jump into certain arenas with no certification.
On the job training.
Right, on the job training, and that's supposed to be good enough, or that they are more qualified than someone who actually has that certification. And that's not how it works. People who know their craft make it look easy from the outside.
And that's it.
Outside, and it's looking easy to you.
And that's it.
It's way more technical. There's way more into it, especially when it comes to politics and stuff. And I think, it's a psychological term, but it's basically where you set expectations and goals that are so unrealistic that you can't achieve it, so that you can excuse yourself from not even putting forth the effort. And I feel like a lot of folks do that. Okay, you ain't got to become the president of the United States. You ain't got to become the mayor in order to help the Black community. You could go pick up some trash. Okay, you can go offer to cut the grass at that one house that grass ain't been cut in 4 months. You can do stuff within your power to help your own community. But when you start trying to reach way beyond your abilities and understanding, and like, well, see, that's why I can't do nothing. It's a cop out. It's a cop out. It's an excuse.
I was having a conversation with Erica Campbell from Mary, and she was saying how we have to stop closing our doors, in our neighborhoods. And so when you said cutting the grass, it's like, okay, well, that's not mine. I ain't worried about what's going on over there. I'm focused on what's going on here. She's like, we have
your property value.
It's affecting you.
How can you not understand that?
Listen,
it is affecting you. You are a part of this community. It is affecting you.
Even the children. Honestly, let's be realistic here. The children in the neighborhood, they will eventually affect you. Look at that one man. He raped the neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Do you remember that, Nick?
That was
and he raped the neighbor. The lady was like 90, and I think he killed her. So stop closing your door. I'm with Erica. I appreciate that word, Erica. it's like, and I wish I had it because I had it recorded as well. You gotta stop closing your door. Stop closing your door to your neighbors. Like, open it up. I'm not a real friendly person to be like, hey, how you doing, girl? Come on over. Now, don't be asking to borrow no sugar or nothing like that. But if you want some food, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Here you go. It's an apple tree out front. Go ahead and grab an apple. I was good for that one, you know. But, you know, to see what's going on. Now, what I did do, honestly, my one neighbor, like when I would go out of town, she knew that. But it was strictly hi bye. And she ended up coming to me because she saw me in the paper. She was like, I was like, I think that's my neighbor. I think. And I was like, yeah, it was me. But I would just tell one, because you can't trust everybody, just to kind of look out. And if she needed something, vice versa, you know, and we kind of got with the garden tools. She was like, here, use that. All was well. It was good. So we do need to like open our doors. If there's something going on major, somebody next door to you might be sick and you don't know, and there may be something that you have. There has been times where people have called me and said, hey, go around the corner and check this person's blood pressure. They called me. I was able to do that instead of no. Hold on. I was like, wait, what? What's going on? Oh, let me get in the car. Boom, I got them. You know, let me check. Okay, it's good. All right, good. Until they get into town. You know what I mean? So we do need to kind of just reach out. I'm learning at the same time, honestly. Now, let me get on to this part. Go ahead. Amber, somebody. Wait, listen to the audience. Amber put up the church finger like, can I get the mic? Go ahead.
Piggyback on that, and I know you were talking about the conversation, the metaphorical door.
Uh-huh.
I'm talking about literal doors. Definitely keep your door closed. But in my neighborhood, and I tell two of my neighbors when I'm going out of town to watch out. But in my neighborhood, we are the ones that I talk to. We're big believers in looking out our windows. We be peeking through the blinds, watching what's happening.
I ain't mad at you.
Being observant, because sometimes that's all you can do is observe. But you can observe in a report, be a witness, say, "Yeah, I sure did see that." You know what I'm saying? And just like keeping your eye on your own street. Just quick side note: a house on my street, we thought there was drug activity going on because there was too much activity going on. You know what I'm saying? And so we was all, as neighbors, we were like, bringing down property values, so
right?
You know, you're like, we watch and we're like, and you know, even if it never turned into nothing, you can feel when folks is watching you. And so when them peoples realize and figure out, oh,
no, you didn't with an S.
He said people. All these people is watching me on this street, and we ain't never said that because we ain't thugs. We not thugs, but we giving you the side eye, we giving you the dirty eye.
Like you ain't doing this over here.
Yeah, like you not welcome over here, and we is watching you with a big eye. We watching you, you know. So I think that I'm not encouraging nobody.
We all seeing eye.
Right, we all see. We is watching you, like just. You know, you can't sit here and complain about stuff like that and not even be willing to report stuff to the police anonymously.
Well, the problem is, guess what? You can't report it anonymously. Because, remember that one guy, remember Nick? The guy behind me,
okay,
he let me know that he thanked me for not calling the police on him. And I asked him, and I actually end up knowing him because, you know, where I work at. And then he was like, well, I was with you for 2 years. You was with me. Then he said, what party was on? I was like, oh, okay. But I thought he looked familiar, but people look different in uniform and out of uniform. And you guys can read between the lines. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, and I'm knowing the medicine and stuff. I was like, oh, he was like, you was the only one that didn't report. I said, how do you know? Because when the police come over there, they tell you who calls.
Oh, but you know, because we call, and I tell people, call them.
But listen, though, how dangerous is that for an elderly person?
Right. I mean, and it is dangerous.
Or a scary person.
You gotta. I mean, I'm not a fearful person. I'm naturally not a fearful person, and I feel like after I became a homeowner, that whole you know, your house is your kingdom type thing mentality, I really embrace that. I'm just like, no, No, this mine. This mine right here.
Yeah, you ain't about to take that,
I
right?
ain't about to take that, and I have certain rights. And
Mm-hmm.
guess what? I have a right to a quiet neighborhood. And if
You
you're
do?
out here cutting up and acting a fool, and I'm trying to go to sleep, I'm gonna be calling the police.
Listen. And my neighborhood so nosy. It was so funny that one time I was smelling something burning, right? And I'm like, oh, is it a fire? And the garage, by the garage being attached, I was like, oh, I just filled up my gas tank, so I back out. I had on my pajamas, back out, pull it out to the street. I'm like, I don't want whatever it is to blow up, Everybody in the neighborhood came out. They came they had the news channel and everything. I'm sitting there like, go home. There's nothing to see here. But it was just
remember that.
Go home. Get out of here. Because Nick is my neighbor, right?
Right. It's like, where are all these
fire truck? Everything was happening.
going on?
And
Down the street.
right, and what ultimately happened? So somebody check your stuff. The furnace locked up. So it was a fire within the furnace.
Wow. That seems like it could got dangerous.
It could have very well. And it's like, wait, how do you get a fire in the furnace? Well, so check your stuff out. Especially, and, my house, older house, so it's like, okay, wait, so you got to update and upgrade. And you can use the old stuff and it does work well, but you got to get it checked out. Yeah. And everybody that say you need some new stuff, they tell the truth sometimes. They tell the truth.
I had a very similar situation with my neighbors, and it was in the summer. And people sit on their porches in my neighborhood in the summer, and we just started seeing all this smoke, just dark smoke billowing, and it was from behind somebody else's house. And so we were looking around, and it was stinking like, burnt smell.
Uh-huh.
And all these people, I think at least 5 neighbors came out in the street, and we all started going towards the smoke because we're like, what is going on? And turn out they was just burning stuff.
Y'all going to Amber, don't tell me you like the scary movie. You going to see what's going on.
They're my neighbors. I don't, and like you said, it's high and by. You know what I'm saying?
Girl, call me. What happened? I'll just call you and be like, Amber, what happened? Because I ain't going to be here.
Right, exactly. It seemed like it was so much smoke, it was concerning. Like, we didn't know the house got on fire. You know
okay.
And then it also just like pack mentality, mob mentality, you feel bolder and you feel safer when you're in a group. And it was like 5 neighbors.
Okay.
And so we were all like, what's going on? Like, let's make sure everything is okay. So we was heading over there together. So I wasn't like I was by myself. But yeah, definitely, you got to be neighborly. I think it's important to be neighborly.
It really is. Now, when you say support your own, buy from your own, all that other stuff, would or would not that be? I'm like, wouldn't that be segregation? But would or would not that be segregation? I'm just asking you guys.
No.
How is that possible? Don't buy white, buy black, and that's not segregation?
No, because we have been pouring our dollars into the white communities, into the Arab communities, into the Mexican communities for so long. And our community is literally suffering. We need to start building our community back up.
Okay,
it starts at home.
Okay, I get that. But what is segregation? You know what, Tamara, call in 619-902-2287. Is that the number?
You call in, we want to talk to you.
Yes, I want to know when she said no as well, because what is segregation? What's the actual definition of segregation?
Let me Google it. Because it's a innocent, or not innocent, but it's it's not necessarily negative.
Oh, okay. She getting some stuff handled. Okay, girlfriend, you good?
Okay.
Because I just go ahead. You got the Google. You got Webster's. Okay. Is that Webster's or whose? Google. Go ahead.
This is from Google.
Go ahead.
The action or state of setting someone or something apart from other people or things, or being set apart.
Okay.
Now, so the root of it is to be set apart, whether you're a person or a thing. Mm-hmm. And as a Christian, as believers, we're set apart.
Yes, we are.
That's not a negative thing. It's just what it is.
We're Christians.
Okay.
You got different groups.
Separate.
Yeah, we're Christians. You got Muslims. You got Buddhism. You got a ton. Yes.
Yeah, and it's the same thing.
Until you think so.
They use it to keep us away from them.
Right.
Well, yes, that's why I'm asking that question. Let's converse.
I was using it negatively, but yes, it's not a negative thing. But they used it negatively because they did not want black people moving into their neighborhoods, going to their schools. Like, they were trying to keep us from getting good education, living well. So yes, it was being used that word was negative then, yes, being used negatively. But no, it's not a negative thing. It's not. Because you do want to do things that are set apart from just the norm. Especially if it's something great that can potentially help everyone. So you do want to be sometimes set apart from the norm. But when it came to that, yeah, it was being used negatively.
So let me ask this. How do you feel if Caucasians said, or non-melanin, well, whatever, any group said, or Mexicans, any group, any nationality said, support your own and don't support others?
They already say that.
They do.
And they already do it.
But how do you feel? How do you feel?
They're right. I mean, that's what they're doing the right way. I feel like even biblically speaking, you're supposed to take care of your own tribe. You're supposed to provide for your own clan.
Okay.
Like, you're supposed to take care of your own people first, and then you'd be a good Samaritan and help others.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they already doing it. That's a part of their culture, and it's also, I want to say it's a part of their culture. It's common sense.
Okay.
That's my opinion. It's common sense. Common sense.
So for them to be segregated, it's all good.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. I ain't mad at you. I'm just asking the question. Look, I'm just asking the question. Speaking of that, there were 3 black guys who started their own bread.
Ooh, I love bread. I have a carb problem. So,
did you see that?
I want to read a comment.
Go ahead.
So, Tamara said, I work with a group of black doctors, and we do a Ask a Black Doctor Facebook program, and we get the comments, why only black doctors? And I'll get into it.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I will get into it. But, okay, so why only black doctors? Because you want to deal with someone who can relate to you, your medical issues, who you trust. Because a doctor relationship is like an intimate relationship. Trust is paramount, and you want to be able to trust your doctor. And there are very small, but there are some genetic medical differences between black people and non-black people. That is factual, is accurate. That's not racism or nothing. Secondly, if you look into the grandfather or the father of gynecology and how the study of gynecology originated, yeah, black people have every right to be suspicious of the entire medical field, particularly white people. Okay? That's history. That's not my opinion. That is historical fact that black women were used for his experiments and cutting edge procedures because it was believed that we have less sensitivity and have less pain in our genitalia. And procedures were done on enslaved black women without anesthesia. Okay, that even today, right now, studies have proven that white doctors rate their black patients' pain lower than their non-black patients. So there is a institutionalized racism, systemic racism, where they do not acknowledge our pain. They diminish our symptoms. They are not as attentive to our needs because of history, because of socioeconomics, because there is a perception that black people don't take care of their health, that it's not worth the effort, that a black person has this innate strength and they can push through. That's one of the major reasons why the maternal death rate for Black women is so high. Even in first world countries receiving top of the line care, Black women are at substantially higher risk of dying in childbirth. That there's not reason for that. There is a reason for that. No. And part of them dismissing our concerns, minimizing our discomfort and our pain, not being attentive.
Okay,
is why.
Okay, all right. Your history is correct. But I have to step in here just a little bit, okay? As far as like the history of our pain threshold, all that other stuff, yes, I get it. Now, and if you notice, when you go to the doctor, it's being corrected because pain is now one of the vital signs.
Oh, okay.
So they're correcting. If you notice, they'll check your pulse, your blood pressure, and they'll ask you, rate your pain level from 0 to 10. So I got to put that in there. Okay. So wait. So our pain level is being addressed. And I'm going to say this, and I have to disagree with you now, but I do know the history, so I hear where you're coming from. With the with the whole pain thing, when I had surgery, I had so much. They have like a PCA machine. The machine actually gives you medicine, so now you can control it. You can control when you're in pain. And that's when I had that, I thought it was the call light because it looks like a call light. So I wasn't aware of it. Girl, listen, I kept calling because I couldn't feel my legs, right? So I ain't had no pain, okay? I kept calling. I hit that call. Every time I went to wake up and I hit the light, it was the pain thing. Next thing I know, I was like,
you couldn't feel your
right. I kept falling asleep and I said, why they doing me like that? I was like, and I'm half sedated. And I look, I see my mother. I'm like this. Help me. So I'm thinking like, just imagine if it was an old lady hitting it. Boom. Like this is the call. Like, cause it looks just like it. So people be careful. They're allowing us. Yeah,
it taps out.
Listen, it does so far, but I don't need that. I'm calling. I need the nurse. She talking about her with the janitor about her whole boyfriend situation. I can't feel my leg, and every time I hit it, I'm like, you know. I couldn't feel my legs from the anesthesia from the surgery, and then what happened was it was leaking. That was the issue. And yes, I had too much. So they're trying to control the pain. Listen, they're trying to control the pain level so much that they allowing you to give your pain. You hear? You can give yourself, administer your own medication. You know what I mean? Right. So that part of it is being addressed. I want to get to the Shop Talk question of the week. And we talked about it real quick. How long after the divorce should you wait to date?
You don't. It depends on how you feel. Me, when I say I'm done, I'm done. So I'm going to date before the divorce is final.
Okay.
Right. I was going to say, a lot of people date while they're separated. I'm not cool with that because I feel like it's so different from women versus men when they divorce.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I feel like, personally, wait till you're, and then also if it's dead and gone and it's over, but the divorce is dragging out, you know, because a lot of sometimes people, and just sometimes the way it happens, the divorce is dragged out, but it's been over. It's been over, right? And you're just kind of settling up and divvying up the assets or whatever. Then yeah, date if it's dead and over. And that's my issue is, I'm not in your body, I'm not in your heart, I'm not in your mind. How do I know it's dead and over? I can't know that.
When the other person says it's over?
And you know how men are. You know, because come on now. You know what I'm saying? They're like, I'm good. Knowing they still hurt. Knowing they still traumatized. Knowing they're still emotionally unavailable. You know what I'm saying? They'll sit here and take out everything went on in their marriage out on you. Because they're not healed and they're not ready. So, I'm with Nick as a woman, but when you're as a heterosexual woman dating men, I'm very hesitant because I know that a lot of times men will sit here and act like they're good emotionally when they really not.
Okay, so is that being single and dating someone who just recently got divorced? Is that what you're saying?
for me, it's a red flag. I don't date men that are separated, unless they want to share with me like the whole ins and outs of it to get a better idea what's going on or whatever. But yeah, I would definitely say it's a concern because I feel like men are slower to heal. They're slower to acknowledge their pain, a lot of times, and so I would just be like a little hesitant. Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, you're not. Nobody is in nobody else's heart or mind, so you don't really know how they're really feeling. You just know what they're telling you.
Right. Okay. Here's my next one. I wanted to ask you, as a widow, how soon after being widowed should you date?
I think it depends. I think it depends on the situation. Some people are widowed abruptly and unexpectedly. Like their partner was healthy and in good standing, and then they got in a car accident and it took them out. Just like, bloop, gone. That's incredibly shocking. You know what I'm saying? It's very unexpected. Other people, they've been sick for 10 years. And even then, it's still traumatizing. You need to heal from it. But you know what I'm saying? The writing's been on the wall for a while. You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't want to read the writing, it was there. So I would just, for me, it was like a little over a year. But my husband had cancer our entire marriage.
Okay.
So it's different. It's different for everyone. But I think that, and also depends on how you move, because I definitely heard, lots of people heard stories where like, oh, they went and got with someone else 3 months after they put them in the ground. Like, Jesus. You couldn't let the body get cold. That's
what I was about to say. What about the peopling?
Right, people and I feel like, I know I sound so sexist, but I feel like it's usually men. It's usually men. And I think especially men that if they've been in a long-term relationship, they've been married for years, they don't know how to function by themselves. And I can relate to that because it's very different when you've been having to share a bed, having to share a whole life, having to talk to somebody, have to get things approved, having to be a team for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden, you're not a team no more. You by yourself now. You know what I'm saying? It's very shocking to the system. But I do think if you want your next relationship to be successful, even if it wasn't a widowing situation, just y'all broke up or whatever, and so that next relationship is not a rebound, which philosophically, I kind of feel like it's almost unavoidable. Like the rebound relationship is just kind of a part of the process, and it's not the worst thing in the world to get into a rebound connection. Like it's a stepping stone to getting to like a real relationship, so it's kind of like okay too. But if you're trying to avoid having a rebound relationship or be the rebound unknowingly, because then there's also the part of like if you are aware that you're a rebound and your connection is like a rebound type connection and you don't have long-term plans, then that can be okay too. Right. But if you're not trying to be the rebound and you're not trying to get into a rebound connection, just, make sure try to make sure you're as emotionally stable and, at peace. You've made your peace with it and then move on.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I do feel like a lot of them, where they just hop into the next relationship, it's it's not healthy, and it's just to fill a void. Okay. But the reality is, there is a void. You will feel the void. It'll be a big void, like bigger than what you thought it was going to be, type of void, and you'll feel incomplete. But eventually, just like our bodies, it will start to heal up, and that little void will start to get closer and smaller until it closes shut. And then it won't be a void no more, but it's still going to be a whole bunch of scar tissue. Okay. And that scar tissue you ain't even going to get rid of.
What's that sound?
What?
Come on, man. Hey, yes, that time again. Mel's Medical Moments. Listen, lovely people, if you have a headache, I'm concerned about this, so that's why we're focused on headaches, okay? For Mel's Medical Moments this week. Listen, I'm going to talk to you. If you have, and this is for the listening audience as well, if you feel pressure or you feel like you have that headache right by that eye, we usually classify that as the migraine. If you have a headache and it's like at the back of your head, That's usually contributing to hypertension. So check that blood pressure, okay? And sometimes you'll have that where you're like, okay, the back of my head hurt and around the front across my forehead. What is really going on? That is stress. But here's what I want you guys to do. Please contact your primary care physician. If you have a headache, some people just look at it like, okay, well, let me take something. Let me tell you, every symptom your body has is telling you something about your body. It's making you alert and aware like, hey, something's going on. You better get it checked out. Thank God the body is amazing. Okay. So please, please, please. And I want to tell you again, when it's like by your eyes, you're like, okay, I have a migraine. Hypertension, high blood pressure, the back of the neck. And we know the stress causes hypertension as well. And if it's stress, it's right around your forehead and the back of your head. But listen, do not let that headache go. Do not let it go. Always check it out. It could be, and listen, y'all Google anyway. You might look like, oh God, do I have an aneurysm? What do I do? Call your doctor. High blood pressure. We know, we've heard it. Oh gosh, somebody had a stroke. How did they have a stroke? You may have been that person, or they may have been that person that just passed it off as a basic headache and just let it go. If your body is aching, that is the body talking to you. So please contact your primary care physician. If you do not have a primary care physician, aka doctor, just go ahead through an immediate care center. Or go through your ER. They don't really like you to go because that's why they're doing these whole satellite offices. They don't really like you go through the ER. They want to say, okay, only emergencies. But let me tell you, lovely people, if you don't hear nothing else I say, a headache is an emergency.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Something worse.
Look, I'm like, all right, there you have it with Mel's medical moments. The headache. Don't let it go. That's a sign. I'm big on the headache, and don't pass it off as just a headache, because that's what we like to do. All right, so the black guys, that is 3 black guys that decided to start a bread line because he said he was getting some bread. He was in the bread aisle. You guys got to look it up though. I can't even remember their names right now, and the reason I can't because I didn't write them down. But I just thought it was an amazing story, and I caught it right before the show started. He said that he was looking in the bread aisle, pacing back and forth during the COVID, and he Googled it because he wanted to buy black. So that's why this conversation is relevant. He wanted to buy black, and then he realized there were no black bread owners. So they started, and I don't even know the name of the bread line. I have the interview here, but I'll definitely get that information. They were on, Founders Share Success Behind Black Bread Company. And this was, here you go. Google blackbreadco.com, the first black-owned gourmet sliced bread company.
Okay.
So blackbreadco.com. I wonder if it's wheat. Is it? You think?
I like wheat bread.
Do you? It's wheat. It's brown. Like, what do you think?
Okay.
Wheat bread. I can't eat wheat bread. It's too sweet.
A nice website.
Okay, so we can get it off their website.
Well, they have the prices at least.
Okay, well, what is it for a loaf of bread? What you got?
This is Bread Shop. They definitely want you to sign up for a subscription service. Let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, there's a cart, so you can buy their bread off their website.
Okay.
And the nutritional information is posted right there for each item.
And how much is a loaf?
Oh, so I just happened to click on the variety pack of premium white honey wheat bundle.
Okay.
Quantities of 2, 6, or 10. So I've got a 2 variety 20-ounce loaves pre-ordered for $10, $9.98 plus. I'm assuming plus shipping maybe. Let's see if.
All right, we're gonna order it. So hold that, Amber. We're gonna order it, and then we'll be able to taste it.
Okay.
So we'll taste it next week. Hopefully we get it by that show. So we'll go ahead and we'll taste it.
So there's taxes.
Okay.
And then and shipping. So it'll be $9.98 for 2 loaves plus tax and shipping.
Now how much is a regular loaf of bread? I don't even eat bread.
If you
$3.69.
Who?
Schwabel's is $3.69.
Okay, $3.60.
And then if you get in the more expensive brands, it's like $4 or $5
Okay, and theirs is $9.99
for 2 loaves. And they're gourmet.
See, y'all know how to throw that gourmet. I got gourmet T-shirts for sale. Feel free to get one. $10
for gourmet bread.
Okay. Okay.
Or at the bakery. So that's about right.
Okay. All right, we're going to have to check it out. We are definitely going to have to check that out. So you got their website again. It is blackbreadco.com. The first black-owned gourmet sliced bread company. Whoo, $10 a loaf plus tax. The shipping, I can do it. $9.99.
Yeah, $9.99 for 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
That ain't bad.
Yeah.
It's market competitive.
Is it? Okay. Well, I thought y'all said it was like $3.
Did I tell y'all a little secret?
Go ahead.
Yes.
If you like Schwabel's bread, but you don't want to pay Schwabel's money, you either get the Giant Eagle brand or you get Grissom Mills brand from Save-A-Lot. That's still Schwabel.
Is it? They just changed the bag? I can't. Alleged.
I used to work there.
Alleged. There you go. Look. Alleged.
There's a bunch of them that, Sparkled brand. There's a bunch of them. But on the bag, of course, it's going to say distributed by that store.
Okay.
They're not going to tell you who it's baked by. They're going to say distributed by. Of course it's distributed by you because it's in your store. But did you make it? No, you did not.
Like I like the bakery out of Walmart, but like the Whole Foods bakery slaps. Like, I love fresh baked bread, baked on site.
All right, lovely people, more bread talk next week on Shop Talk with Mel. And yes, I'm going to give it to you. Those little ties, the color of the ties, that means something, and we'll talk about that. Look, we'll pick up right where we left off next week. I want to talk about the Battle of the Sexes luncheon and day party. Explore monogamy in the millennium. Saturday, June 4th, 2022. The time is 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. because your girl, I like to party in the daytime. I can see the people I'm talking to, okay? We have the cocktail hour from 2 to 3, and then we're going to get into the nitty-gritty fun games. And we'll have a speaker there, which is a lot of fun, and it'll be like a live talk show. So get ready and get your ticket. It is going to be at Eastwood Event Center. Tickets are on sale now, $35 per person. How can I get a ticket, Mel? Easy. You can go to PayPal, Shop Talk with Mel, Cash App, Shop Talk with Mel, or you could just call the number 619-902-2287. You can send your check to the P.O. Box. Yeah, we got to make sure that check clear before we mail out your doggone tickets, okay? Now, when you visit the website, the P.O. Box is at the bottom. Again, Battle of the Sexes Luncheon and Day Party, June 4th, 2022, 2 to 6 p.m. Yes, we start promptly at 2 o'clock. So if you come late, you'll just miss that part, okay? I ain't mad at you if you come late.
Listen, y'all, and I'm going to tell you from experience, because I've been knowing Mel for a while, been working with Mel on her plays and stuff. When she say 2 o'clock, listen, when she tell you 2, I'm going to tell you like Sister Betty. To be on time is to be early. Okay?
To be early. Oh, to be on time. There you go.
To be on time. To be on time is to be late. So I suggest you be early if you're dealing with anything that has to do with the Shop Talk with Mel production.
Facts.
If you want to be on time, you got to be there early. She ain't playing. When she say 2 o'clock, she needs 2 o'clock.
Listen,
doing PPT with her.
I do. I'm for real. Listen, it can be one person there. We starting at 2. I don't. Time waits for no one, and that we can't get back, and y'all already know. All right, lovely people. You already know. You ready? You clear your throat. That me clear my throat.
That used to be the jam.
I love you guys for listening. I truly do. You have no idea. So thanks for tuning in. Like us on all social networks. You can find us on your favorite podcast. We are there. Shop Talk with Mel or Let's Shop Talk. Do it up. If you are a fan on Facebook, You can see our faces. You can like the Facebook page and you can see us live. Share if you think this video will help somebody. Share it if you need a pick me up or a laugh or feel like you need to relate to us because we are real people doing real things, talking about real topics. Okay. Check us out. We are your people. Shop Talk with Mel. So the Shop Talk with Mel crew co-hosts today is Nick the Voice and Amber. Doing it up. Find you, embrace you. Most importantly, always, always love you. Until next week, people. Shop Talk on your favorite podcast. Peace.